the general outlook of our country. What are your views about how this country has been ruled so far? It's been the last 60 years.
Wow. First of all, you will do well to take note that we have 3 organs of the government.
Yeah.
And for a country to develop or progress well, I hold the view that these 3 organs really need to work independently. Now, when these 3 organs don't work independently, then that's where the problem begins. We have, this time around, we have the executive controlling almost everything.
The other organs.
The judiciary is not independent. You see, the certain appointments that are made are not genuine. You can tell that some people that have been put in those positions really do not even deserve it. So the lack of independence in our country has really caused a lot of problems. And most recently, I heard that Zambia has been ranked, is it 3rd?
Yes.
With regards to
democracy.
To democracy.
That is one of the best democracies in Africa, and we are 3rd. Is that true?
Then I don't really understand how one would say that, because we are really in a mess. There's no democracy. People can't speak freely. You see, the opposition members of parliament are being followed by the police anyhow, to the extent that even the police officers actually follow you to the presence of the house at parliament. So
which should never happen.
It has never happened in the history of Zambia, and this is the first time it's happening. So as regards to democracy, no.
As members of the opposition, and you in particular, are you free to say what you want to say at parliament?
You would do well to note that parliament, for members of parliament, is one of the places in which we could speak freely, and we have immunity. Mm-hmm. But this time around, you see, even the deliberations of the speaker, she deliberates on her emotions. She makes decisions that sometimes they are not even in our laws, the standing orders. So really, we don't have the freedom to express ourselves in parliament as it should be. And most of the times you would see that members of the opposition are curtailed. Sometimes you would indicate to speak and you will not be given an opportunity. And even before you rise, she says, I already know what you want to talk about. How is it that you know what I want to talk about before I even open my mouth?
Your mind. Yeah, okay, she come in your mind.
Yes,
yeah.
So following the standing orders, it's been something else in the House. And I must say we've been put in a tight corner as opposition members, and just generally there's no freedom to speak. We are not enjoying the immunity that we've been conferred with as members of parliament.
You have challenged the speaker right on the floor of the House. I think there are famous instances, I think, where the country sees, even if you are soft-spoken, they see the militancy in you. You challenged the vice president and recently the president. Just speak to those 3 issues and the circumstances that led you to challenge the speaker, the circumstances that led you to challenge the VIP, and the circumstances that made you challenge the president.
Okay. If you notice, when I rise to speak, especially at the vice president's question time, I like to ask those questions that are provoking. those ones that are provoking, and those ones that are not constituency based.
Okay.
Because just as I had earlier alluded to, I realize that I'm not only speaking for the people of Mambilima, but sometimes it's necessary to speak for the country. Mm. So I usually like to use that opportunity, the vice president's question time, to ask questions that are going to benefit the people of Zambia. Mm. Yes. So, well, if I ask a question that is provoking, and then the Madam Vice President uses emotions to respond, and sometimes, she would refer to, what are you talking about? Or no. The reason why we ask questions is because we need answers, not answers just for me, but answers to provide to everyone else that may see that question necessary. So basically, I would say we shall continue to ask those provoking questions, because if we don't, then our responsibility as members of parliament, to the extent that we're supposed to represent and speak for the people in the House, then it will be of it will have no weight. And then also, one of the reasons that makes me come out in that manner, now talking about the speaker, is because of the way she presides. And I want to take this opportunity to say, this is the first female speaker. And I should be proud of her, because as a woman, I feel she needs my support. But the way she presides over matters in the House, I don't think it is the right way to do it. And that is why most of the time, when I'm rising on the matter of urgent public importance or anything like that, I always make sure that I have something in my hands. I need to speak with authority. I need to have evidence. If you remember the last question, the last time I rose on the matter of urgent public importance, I had a letter with me. This letter was headed and it was stamped. And I think, without regard to the standing orders, I thought she would have allowed me.
We saw the speaker refuse you to speak, even before you could introduce a matter.
I needed to.
And you said, have a letter. Then she challenged you that, is it authentic? Have you provided a certified copy? Did you get it correctly? I think that surprised all of us.
Yes,
because your duty was to speak to it and lay it on the table.
So that is why I questioned. I said, it would be for you to determine whether the letter is authentic or not. I cannot determine whether a letter is authentic or not. That is the reason why we lay documents on the table. So if she says, no, before she even understands what kind of a document I have, then I think that is unfair already.
What matter did you try to raise? What was the issue in that letter?
The issue was that satellite sales of maize had begun in Livingstone. So I wanted to ask when satellite sales will begin in these other areas,
including your constituency.
Including my constituency, because satellites are dotted in different parts of the country. So if they started in Southern Province, Livingstone, then when are they going to start in these other provinces also? That was my contention.
And she couldn't even let you ask the question.
She could not allow me to speak, so I had to make reference to another public document, which was the newspaper, and that is when she allowed me to speak. So we are being curtailed all the time, and it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
No, you've put it aptly that as a woman, you feel obliged to support the speaker because she's a woman, the vice president because she's a woman. But again, it has to be on merit.
Yes.
If their conduct is betraying even the women that they are supposed to inspire confidence and support from, you cannot just blindly support them. What would you like to see for young people in this country? What are your thoughts? I know you work through the party. I know you have the party has programs and policies. But when the young people look at you, they want to hear from you what your views are, and if you can represent them on some of those issues.
Basically, what I would say is that let the youths rise. Let the youths rise, and they need to know that they have a voice too, because this is their country, and they are also they have a big role to play in the development of the country, and really they are the largest number of voters with our women folk, of course. So I think the youths need to rise so that they can defend themselves, they can speak for themselves. After all, I remember that in 2021, the youths woke up at 4 or 3 to go and cast their votes. Many youths voted in 2021. So they should also be a voice. They should speak for themselves and understand that they hold the power. And they should hold leaders to accountability. They need to speak. That is what I would say for the youths. I think I'm also happy that the 13th House, we have 8 members of Parliament who are less than 35, the youths. I think it has never happened in our history.
So there are 8 of you in that house,
yes,
who are below the age of 35?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's very encouraging, and I think the youths can pick it from us to also understand that they can also take part in providing development to the country by being strong, focused, and determined to... I always say, if I can do it, then why
Young,
can't
a
you?
woman, you did it.
Yes, and then you too can do it. So I think one of the things that we need to do is to ensure that we keep our leaders accountable to. People have expectations.
Yeah.
People have expectations, so they need to see results. They need to see results.
I want you to provide these reflections on the governance by President Hakainde Hichilema, by exactly what you did, last Friday. He comes to deliver, it's a constitutional mandate. He has to report to Parliament on the national values and principles of our country. I think the 2016 constitutional amendments mandates him, other than the annual speech that he gives before budget, he's also supposed to give this one in March, where he reports the progress his government is making on issues of ethics, morality, on national values, on ensuring that the nation is kept together. The rise of junkies, the drunkenness that has emerged, especially among young people, and the rise in corruption, just a breaking down of literally our morals and ethics. So the president, as usual, came and gave him what people might think is a fantastic speech, but you called him a liar. Let's speak to that. As you sat to hear what you were speaking, and then when he finished and he was going out in splendor and pomp to the support of his MPs, you had a different view. Tell us.
Okay. First of all, I'll start by saying that as a leader, we need to understand that we owe a duty to our people to give reasons, guidance to the community in which we belong, and in his case, to the country. There are a lot of things that were said prior to the elections by the president. A lot of things. And the reason why I've said this is because the reason why I've talked about duty is because when you say something as a leader, you need to be accountable for what you say, to the extent that if it's not working or maybe it's not possible, you need to go back to the community to go and give reasons or to explain why what people were expecting or what you were expecting as a leader has not worked. I think that is the first thing. And as leaders, we need to be honest. Let me say that it is known that we politicians are liars. But I think the extent also to which you lie, there should be some, maybe for lack of words, some decency. If you remember, prior to the elections, during those campaigns, we were promised that things would be different. We were promised that the price of milimi would be 50 kwacha. We were also promised that we would not have load shedding anymore. We were also told that the middleman, as regards the purchase of fuel, would be cut out to the extent that fuel will now be at a better price. But everything that we see now is very different. He also said that we would be able to see what democracy really is. But now people are being pushed left, right, center. Every day someone from the opposition is called to the police station over allegations that are not even well established. People are being kept in cells for over 24 hours without being charged. Look at, we have this Rizwan. He's still in the Eastern Province there.
Rizwan Patel.
Rizwan Patel, yes. He has not been formally charged. And it's been over, I think, 6 months, if I'm not...
2 months, about. He's in the second month.
This is the second month. So that still is not 24 hours. So when we look at a lot of things, look at the corruption. Corruption now, because I think they said, no, the Patriotic Front are thieves and whatnot, but what we are seeing now in broad daylight, it's like our country is being torn apart, really. And it's just being done in the open like that. I'll give a lot of examples, really. So the question is, how do you expect to trust such a leader? When we talk about the dollar rates, and apparently there was a time frame, 10 hours, and then I don't know if it's 14 or somewhere there, the dollar was supposed to have reached a certain number. So we need to get to a level in the country where if you think as a leader you failed to provide the solution, what you had asked the people to, what you had told the people, you need to come out in the open to say you have failed, or maybe it's not going to work. You need to provide a time frame or something. everything that most of the things that our president said during the campaigns, I'm not certain I can actually point at one thing to really be proud of and say, this is what's happening. They talked about cadreism. What is happening these days? The cadres are everywhere, in the markets, in the bus stations, and they're doing it publicly. I'll also give you an example. I had a by-election in Mambilima constituency for the council chairperson. That by-election was not free and fair. They beat up our people, they intimidated them, and we almost lost a life of a certain old man. So when they say there's no cadreism, what exactly do they mean? Because most of these by-elections, we can even talk about the by-election in Masabombe, where our people were beaten. Our people were beaten, and not only beaten, they were intimidated. There was corruption as usual, where there were about 5 ministers that had come in a ward, unprecedented. We have 5 ministers to come and see what is happening in the by-election, work in that particular by-election, and publicly giving out money. To the extent where I think apart from money, they were even giving things like meal, and in some areas, I also hear they were giving fertilizers, like before, yes. So all those things, then I don't know if you can say that things are going well in the country. It's like you said, I'm going to do... No, when you vote for us, the UPND, this is what's going to come. We shall do things differently. There will be no cadreism. There will be no... But that is exactly what is happening. If you said you pushed away the Patriotic Front because they were violent, then why are you doing the same thing? Because we expect something different from you. Now, if you are doing the opposite of what you said, then why should I not challenge you? Because if someone says you don't have evidence... Just before I came here, I was watching a video of where he said the reason why PF is not doing well is because they lack good leadership. That is why the fuel prices were high. That is why the dollar rate was high. Then what can I say? Because if you said it was poor leadership, then I will also say it is poor leadership on your part. There's nothing different. Leadership will always be leadership. So if you said it is poor, then even in this situation, in this year, 2024, it is still poor leadership. So some of these things that we say have implications. And so then I would also say...
when you called him out and you said, Wufi Makateka, Wufi, he turned back. What did he come to say to you?
First of all, let me say, lies have short legs. Yeah. They are very short-lived. That is why I remember watching a clip where the president, Dr. Frederick Chiluba, said, you see, the things that you say now will have repercussions in the future, to the extent that you need to be careful with what you say now, so that it doesn't affect the future, you know? So at that point, if you noticed during the speech, I actually walked out when he started talking about the judiciary. Yeah. I don't think I was really happy with what he said about the judiciary and how things are working with that arm of the government. So I walked out a bit just to
cool down. Yes, because you couldn't stand in getting those lies.
Yes. Yeah. So when he came, after I shouted, I want to say that when I'm given an opportunity to meet the president, even if it's at parliament, then that is my opportunity. I had an opportunity to meet him, and it was my opportunity that time to speak to him. So that was the platform I had. Yeah. And when I shouted that, I think he heard, and then he was almost leaving, and then he got back. The question he asked me was, Bushe, ninebona later drought. Mm-hmm. If you saw, he was even pointing, because he was trying to say it's an act of God. Yeah. Then I said, yes, it is. That is why I don't even want to talk about the drought. Let us talk about the real issues. Because we were talking in Bemba.
Yes. No, apparently the president has been speaking good Bemba of late. Yeah.
So I said, Monenyu bunga, mutengo wa bunga po fikiri. Monenyu ama light matidero chedi ntakwakapi. Monenyu mutengo wa mafuta, fuel prices. Look at the dollar. These are the things we need to be talking about, Mr. President. Well, he didn't have anything to say, and I think that's how he said. And that's how we had to live.
No, first I would like to commend you. I would like to commend you for that act of bravery. You were very, very brave to confront the president. And I'm glad that you were issue-based. You want answers from your leader. You want answers from our leader. And you challenged him. And I think all of us in the country must commend you. And our appeal to the UPND and its leadership is that they shouldn't intimidate you. They shouldn't threaten you. You have a right to speak. You are in the sanctity of parliament, and that they should respect. And he himself, the president, came to face you. So I don't think that he took it maliciously. He wanted to hear what your concerns are. And he wanted to blame the drought. And I'm glad that he attempted to blame the drought. Because when President Edgar Lungu said, it's because of the drought, he said, no, it's a leadership issue.
Yes.
You can prepare. They didn't prepare. They've exported all the maize. You know, there are many things you can do with the impending drought. They were warned in advance. They haven't prepared. So it's also a leadership issue, like he said then. Yeah, so continue. I just wanted to contribute there.
Yes, so basically, I think the president should come out in the open. When things are not going well, he should come out in the open and explain. Remember, he said leaders should be held accountable for certain things that they say. So if you said this is going to be like this is going to be like this, there are a lot of things. Maybe I've even left out many of them.
The promises and pledges he made as campaign promises.
Yes, campaign promises. So I would actually urge the president to say, come out in the open and explain.
Would you want him to apologize?
When I say he should come out in the open, that's also a way of humbling himself. There's a certain extent where things will not go as you planned. But if you come out in the open and say, Mwebantu, Narilu Baba, Elwe Chalingo Kwat Fienda Winwefintu, Nifi. And in Bemba to Arquata, Ideati, Amano of Minamufisa, I am churu. That act I put up on Friday should actually mean something to him. To say, this is a young person who has approached me in such a manner. Then I should do something about it. Because that was everyone was watching. And everyone heard from the speech. 70% of it was not well put. So I think he should come out in the open and tell the people to say, this is what is happening. I've failed to deliver this. Give me some time. And I think that is what a good leader should do. Not everything will sit well. Not everything will go as planned. So what you do now is to come out in the open and say, if you failed, say I've failed. If you need a bit of time, say, okay, I think I said I'll deliver in March, but maybe let's see what will happen in August or something like that. Rather than, because you see, now it's lie after lie. It's like you cannot build up on a lie. Then it becomes a problem. You see? We have a lot of people affected by certain decisions. We talked about fertilizer distribution. Distribute fertilizer to the areas where it is predicted that we will have proper and good rainfall. What has happened? Most of the fertilizer was taken to the southern province. We have a problem now. I'm not so sure how the harvest will be, especially we've had poor rains. So it's really a challenge.
How was the fertilizer distribution in Mambilima and in Mwense? Did you get enough fertilizer? Did your cooperatives and groups get what you had registered for?
Omufundo nifirafine ndandire wali umwaka wafumako. Yashi yamameda. So what do you do with such kind of sharing of fertilizer? Because definitely when you share fertilizer, then the harvest is not good. And what happened is that the people that were at the helm of the distribution of fertilizer, they decided to start sharing the fertilizers amongst themselves. That is in my constituency in particular. So the delivery, first of all, it was delayed. And then now the distribution itself, people did not get the proper quantities because they ended up sharing the fertilizers. When you share fertilizer, the quantity is not good. The harvest is not good. It's just as simple as that. So there are a lot of things involved. And I think I want to urge the government to go back to the drawing board. They need to realize that it is the people that put them there. It is the people that have given them the mandate. And because it is the people that have given you the mandate, that is the reason why you owe them an explanation, and that is why you need to deliver to them. You have been given that position, so you need to deliver. If you don't deliver, that is why I said you come back to the drawing board. Tell the people what is happening on the ground, so that people will say, okay, this. So I think for me, I feel like I did the right thing that day on Friday. It is my duty to speak not only for the people of Mambilima. When I'm given a chance, I need to speak as a youth. When I'm given a chance, I need to speak as a woman. So I think that was the right thing to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, you did well. Like I've said, we've congratulated you on that.